Welcome to Geek Tonight. The topic today I'm going to discuss is about Assessment Center. I'm Sanjay Vishal, one of the content writers at Geek Tonight. Let's go into the topic. What is an assessment center? A certain function for identifying the skill and potential for growth. It uses few methods to evaluate employees for human resource and manpower purpose and decisions. Assessment Center in HRM. The assessment center in HRM works in a certain way. It predetermined adopts various techniques of testing to allow the competencies that are the candidates to showcase their ability and skills to achieve sheer success in a given particular job. Preparation of assessment center. The assessment center mainly focuses on performing well at performance related exercises that bring out the actual work situations and activities. Preparation of assessment center consists of two steps. On-time assessment center after the assessment center finishes. On-time assessment center, every station is set with a particular time and the candidates are given the exact amount of time to complete the exercises. A set of assessment center experts will assess each particular exercise. The competencies will perform the exercise as soon as they finish. The experts will direct them to the next exercise. The candidate's behavior is observed by the assessment center experts who have been trained to perceive individual behavior in terms of job dimensions. After the on-time assessment center, here comes after the assessment center finishes. After the assessment center finishes, the assessment center, that is, the assessors, will start assessing the exercises given to them. The experts will assess the performances on each of the exercises being rated. When all the competencies complete their assessments, the expert assessors will put the information together that they've gathered. They usually take the form of discussing a candidate at a time. The competencies will be notified about the examination results in 10 days by the human resource. Letting the competencies know about the performance doesn't mean they'll be offered a position. It determines the placement on the eligible list depending on the eligibility criteria. The competencies name might be sent to the departments with vacancies and will be called for the interview for the position. There is use of assessment center. The use of assessment center is mainly for HR department because HR department looks after required and actual skill sets of candidates and then selects them. Following is the list of the HR functions where assessment center method is effective. 1. Selection. The assessment center method helps in getting the right people for the right job at the right time. That is called selection. Next, career path. It helps in deciding the candidate to decide his/her career path or career development. It is because the candidate has got knowledge about the competencies required for a particular job. After career path, it checks out identifying the potential. It helps the candidate to know his/her potential and strong areas. This helps him or her in her performance appraisal. Next, identification of talent. Assessment center method clearly indicates the talent available within organization, which helps in identifying potential people for a particular position. Next, training and development needs. Assessment centers also facilitate training and development needs identification for a candidate. Succession planning. As said above, assessment center method clearly indicates the skill sets of competencies of an individual. It helps in succession planning. This decision of succession planning based on assessment center results helps in reducing errors or helps in accuracy of taking the right decision at the right time. The last one, development of candidate. Skill enhancement through simulations. This helps in developing the candidate in his own skill and ability to perform well. After the use of assessment center, here comes few methods of assessment center. Using the assessment center method, candidates are tested for the qualities required for a certain position. It is an exercise function. Candidates will have to show their leadership qualities in the assessment. If it is an organization function, the assessment will focus more on organization activities. These are some of the methods of assessment center. In-basket exercise. In-basket exercise method in the assessment center, also known as the in-tray exercise method. It is widely used across the organizations which accurately test the knowledge, skill, behavior of the competencies. Some of the behaviors in in-basket methods are as follows: speed, accuracy, analysis of information, planning, prioritization, decision making, management time, evaluation of stimulation, effective use of time. The motive of the in-basket exercise is to know about the employee's ability, that how well can one perform in particular situation with the job related task. For example, if the manager is hiring a content writer, candidate needs to know about the content writing basics, should be able to write an article with proper grammar and in narrative way with his skills. Also should be able to execute the article with the given information. After the in-basket exercise, here comes competency-based interview. Competency-based interviews and also called situational interviews or behavior interviews according to certain structures. The interviewer has a collection of questions that each concentrates on a particular skill or ability of competency, and the answers will be compared with the pre-established criteria. These competencies interviews work on a certain principle that past behavior is the best route of future performances. The results will be used across all sectors of the organization by all the employers, particularly favoring the large graduate recruiters that may come handy for them in the assessment center. Comparing to the normal interviews, competency based interviews are more informal. Generally, in the normal interviews, the interviews would be asking about the random questions which will have a normal end, but in competency based interviews, it's more systematic and more intriguing. Some of the key elements of competency based interviews are communication, conflict resolution, decisiveness, independence, flexibility, adaptability, problem solving, resilience, organizations, teamwork. After competency based interview, here comes case study. A case study in the assessment center method is projected by giving case studies to the competencies. That is, giving them reports, situations to deal with, and come up with accurate results. Document would also be given to analyze them to come up with proper decision making skills based on the information given. In case study, this can be done as individual exercise and also can be given in the groups that would let the assessors know about the teamwork ability and the competencies. After going through the case studies and form a conclusion, the competencies have to present a brief report or at least a presentation. The assessor or the expert of the interview would check the skill of the presentation and problem solving method of the case study as much as a solution that the competencies has arrived at. In the fact, case studies are usually framed to not have an accurate answer or one correct answer. That's tricky. As long as the competencies justifies the logic of the case study, the assessor wouldn't mind interrogating. Therefore, the competency would score marks based on the ability to justify the answer. A skill that you need to work on a case study exercise: analytical and statistical and logical analysis of problems, formulating to a decision and communicating to a decision, profound oral communication skills for discussing the recommendation, commercial insight of a problem, entrepreneurial insight of a problem, interpreting a lot of data in various formats from various sources. After case studies, here comes role play. Role play exercise used in assessment center works in such a way that the employers would keenly observe the competencies by giving them role play to see how would they cope up with the work situation. The employees in the organization would observe certain skills and the competencies are as follows: work under pressure, assertiveness, achieving goals, customer focus, interpersonal effectiveness. Role play exercises bring out professional actors to create a scenario of work situations as follows: a disgruntled colleague, a failure supplier, a dissatisfied shareholder, an angry customer. These are certain situations that are given to the competencies to cope up with and to bring out the proper result. The employees will give a lot of challenges through the role plays to the competencies and then observe how would the competencies react and negotiate certain problems, and how would the competency conclude with the given scenario role play. Next comes group discussion. Group discussion in an assessment center is executed with a small group of competencies to know about the abilities and skills of the competencies and also to see how competencies work in a given team. The main motive of group discussion are as follows: to see the leadership skills and competency, to see the confidence, to check the strength of the character, to see how competency would consider other opinions, logical arguments, strong communication skills, teamwork, commercial awareness. After group discussion, here comes projective techniques. The projective technique under assessment center method is a series of relatively project issues concerns organization. There are various kinds of projective techniques and assessment centers. Different organizations choose different types of projective techniques to project competencies and their issues and concerns. After projective techniques, one of the methods of assessment center are business games. The next is business games. It can also be effective for self-assessment. The candidate might select from a checklist of different response options or choose different approaches and take different paths through simulation. The simulation could branch through different simulation presentation. This type of self-assessment would help differentiate an employer as unique and sophisticated in their approach of candidate. After the methods of assessment center, here comes the advantages of assessment center. Fair and accurate way, enhances the knowledge of participants, opportunity for individuals, enables interviewers to assess future performance, better insight into the role. It is a fair and accurate way of selecting a candidate. It is not only helps in selecting the right candidate for the right position, but also enhances the knowledge of participants and boosts their thinking procedures and also proves their efficiency at work. It gives an opportunity for an individual who are talented couldn't exhibit their talent because their job never demanded it. They enable interviewers to assess existing performance as well as predict future job performance. After advantages of assessment center, here comes disadvantages of assessment center. These are the disadvantages of assessment center. Costly and time consuming, requires highly skilled observers. Poor assessment might lead to demotivated. AC is very costly and time consuming. The assessment center will take at least 3 days for each assessor, 1 day for training and at least 1 day for assessing and 1 more for making a decision. Assessment centers require highly skilled observers as the observers may bring in their own perceptions and biases while evaluating. Those who receive poor assessment might become demotivated and might lose confidence in their abilities. After disadvantages of assessment center, here comes developing competency models. That is, how do you develop a competency model? Developing competency model are as follows. How do you develop a competency model? Developing a competency model in the assessment center method is a process that consists of various steps. Steps in developing competency models. Firstly, understanding the purpose. That why the competency model needs to be developed. And secondly, determining the approach and project team. One should know about the project and need to have proper knowledge about the project in developing the competency model. And the next one, to gather the competency data, to analyze in making and developing the competency model. And the next is to rebuild the framework, to identify the name and the structure of the competency model. And lastly, to implement the development competency model, which is to implement the developed competency model that is giving the competencies a suitable job position. Thank you. I hope you liked the video. Go on, share it with your friends and do subscribe to our channel Geek Tonight. I am Vishal, one of the content writers at Geek Tonight. Signing off. Bye.